Hello everyone, welcome to Thoughts on Education by College Dunia. Today we have with us Dr. Shweta Jain. Before beginning this interview, I would like to grab the opportunity to introduce our guest of honor, Dr. Shweta. She is the Dean of ICFAI Business School, Jaipur. She is an educationist, soft skills trainer, and academic administrator with over 18 years of experience and established aptitude in academic deliverance and management training. She is an IIM Calcutta alumnus with PhD in area of employee training and development. She is also an internationally certified trainer with a rich experience. So let's begin with the interview. Ma'am, my first question to you is that when you first came to IBS Jaipur, what was your vision for the institute and how are you trying to achieve it?
See, knowing IPS predominantly, as a constituent of the brand ICFAI, definitely I knew that the institution has a rich legacy, a very strong value system, and certainly a very, very noble ideology. And I was of an opinion that I first need to understand and absorb this vision and this ideology that Shri N.J. Yashasvi carried when he established the institution. And perhaps I did come with a vision that I would replicate and I would extend his broader vision in our context. Like we came to Jaipur campus. Jaipur campus was those days in its nascent stage. So we were looking at taking this campus to the level where NJY has taken the other campuses that he established during his lifetime. Jaipur definitely saw its birth during his lifetime, but he had a greater vision for Jaipur. And I felt that I'd been entrusted with the responsibility to realize his vision and dreams for Jaipur. So we thought that, yes, we will create a cadre of brilliant management professionals, high on the knowledge, skills, and abilities, and certainly very high on professional ethics. We were looking at creating those kind of managers who have a very strong analytical thinking ability, and at the same time, they have a very staunch value system.
Well, I must say that's a beautiful vision, and how you are trying to achieve it from the very scratch. So,
If I come to that idea where you asked how we are trying to achieve it, we are perhaps living with the ideology of leading by setting an example. So each of our team members, be it the faculty members or be it the support staff, we have certain ideologies and we know that that should be into practice, and we are laying examples for the team members to follow, for the students to follow. And I'm glad to say that our alumni have supported a lot because the kind of culture they establish and they pass on to the next batch. So this has now become something that is passing from batch to batch, and we are being identified by this unique culture.
okay, that's good to know, ma'am. So let's begin with the second question. How do you think that a business program ensures a practical approach when it is being taught?
Okay. I trust when you put students into a business education program, they have to be prepared to think and act like a manager. And that would happen only if you start taking positions. And to my understanding, the best tool that helps a management scholar to understand how to take positions or how to place oneself in a situation is through case studies. And I trust we all know how IBS has been known to be a pioneer and a champion in case studies. So our entire pedagogical approach is dependent predominantly on bringing in case studies into classroom discussions. So when we bring in those students coming from different quarters, with different academic backgrounds, with different set of experiences, different perspectives, and we put them into those case discussions where the role of faculty is purely a facilitator. We are only there to create a climate, to foster an environment where the students feel free to contribute to, and when they participate in these discussions, deliberations, contemplations, discourse, there's so much where the student eventually starts taking position, placing himself or herself into that business situation, thinking and acting like a manager and offering valid solution to those critical business problems. So we ensure that the students experience being in that problem through case studies and come out with their solutions. Besides this, we ensure that our teaching contrivance has multiple dimensions to it. Even our evaluations are not restricted to paper and pen examinations. We put them into a lot of presentations, live projects, operation workouts, We have a lot of academic collaborations with corporates, and we put them into those types of interventions also, where we see that they start developing that ability. How would they transfer this learning into practice? And perhaps our summer internship program, that is 3.5 months of a very extensive program where we have a corporate mentor and a faculty mentor parallelly grooming a student, we ensure that all the classroom learnings come into practice. And wherever the student can link those real life experiences with some valid theoretical concepts or with some management principles, we encourage them to bring on small caselets or certain learning excerpts out of it, which we can use in the subsequent batches, because those are experiences of their own seniors at work. And we even invite such type of interventions from our alumni. They would come and share their experiences. So a lot of teaching gets a practical dimension, one, through the kind of a balance we draw in faculty pool. We have resources from academia and industry. We have a lot of corporate lectures and a lot of guest interactions. And then we have corporate talk series, which is a regime here. Then our case studies, our live projects, our academic collaborations, and internship. Across 360 degree, we have created a mechanism where student has a very, very applied learning. I would call it action learning.
So IBS Jaipur is providing a total whole package for a student, that apart from theoretical part, they learn practically also. So ma'am, you have been in this industry, education industry, a long time. So what are the major challenges that you have faced in this industry, and how did you overcome them?
If you're talking in context of education industry or in context of higher education, I would draw out that the biggest challenge is, how do you balance between the administrative and the academic expectations? See, eventually every academician, he or she has to be into some sort of administrative role. And when we look at people who are active into professional education, there are a lot of stakeholders, who set the expectations. I always say that as academic administrators or academicians in higher education industry, you need to have a 4-step approach. The first step is identify the stakeholders, who you are answerable to, or who are the ones, the parties or the entities that set expectations. That includes students, their parents or guardians, a larger set of recruiters and industry. It would be the peers as well. It would be the alumni. It would be the overall society or community. It would be the regulatory bodies as well. So there are multiple stakeholders that set the expectations. Now, second, what are the deliverables? What are the, when we call in terms of delivering to their expectations, what are the deliverables that individual parties are expecting? And then how do you prioritize amongst all these? So when I say it is like handling the trade-offs between academics and administration, that was the biggest challenge, that at heart you're an academician, a noble soul that believes in teaching and contributing to the society. And at the same time, you're running an institution that would work on certain standard operating procedures, which at times may not be very clear to the consumers or to the other stakeholders. You also need to comply by the guidelines of regulatory bodies. You also need to ensure that your recruiters get the best kind of, talent pool that you promise them, that kind of a talent pool. So meeting the expectations of multiple stakeholders, ensuring that your deliverables are matching with their expectations, and still balancing between academics and administration is perhaps something where I feel that one has to, evolve every day and see how you strike a balance between these different challenges.
So ma'am, there are a lot of external forces between academics and administration. And a person,
we've been always saying it, bridging the gap between academics and industry when it comes to professional education. And it is not just industry, trust me, it is industry, it is regulatory bodies, it is the society or the community, it is the students and the parents, and it is the academia itself. So how do you balance between different parties?
Of course, ma'am. So ma'am, as you know that one of the most important things which a student looks after doing an MBA is placements. So what is your approach for placement of these students who pursue business courses from your institute?
If we talk it from an institution's perspective, our approach is to strengthen our corporate relations. Our strategy has been to ensure that our regular recruiters keep coming to us year after year. We look at enhancing the profiles and the packages at regular intervals. The same recruiters who are coming to us for years now know us quite closely. They know our students, they know our kind of a preparation. So often we try to customize our training interventions to meet their expectations. They say that there are novel careers that are emerging, the role expectations are changing. So train your students to meet those expectations. So with our existing recruiters, we try to find out how we can enhance the profiles and packages. Every year, we set a target for ourselves that we need to bring in X number of new recruiters on board. So maintaining relations with your existing recruiters, developing your recruiter base by reaching out to new recruiters every year. And most importantly, we see that all our academic and training interventions are directed to prepare students for the contemporary and the emerging industry needs. Like for the last few years, we've been seeing that digital abilities have really taken a front seat. So we are preparing our students extensively on digital abilities. We have seen that all types of communications, oral, written, they make a lot of difference. And this is what the industry also expects. So we work on the minutest level of skills, be it technical skills, be it soft skills. And these days we have, we talk a lot about those quotients: emotional quotient, intelligence quotient, moral quotient, creative quotient, adversity or adaptability quotient, social quotient, spiritual quotient. And we see how industry has been fascinated by these dimensions, which are beyond the technical dimensions. So we work a lot on these areas. We have even started with academic collaborations with some prestigious corporates. What helps here is when they closely monitor the student during their entire process of academic program or those certifications, we even approach them further to see if these students meet their requirements as full-time hires. So this is another approach. And something which I always advise my team members and my placement team as well, we need to ensure from the day one, there is a high degree of self-awareness in the student. That helps us in expectation management. We make the student understand that your interest, your abilities must be aligned with the opportunities. And at the same time, you should have a very clear self-assessment. What am I good at? What are my core competencies? Where do I need to improve? What is the deficiency? So managing the expectations with the students, closely counseling them, developing that robust interface with our recruiters. Personally, we have this approach called PACT, Placement Advisory Counseling and Training Interventions, where we have everything, including mentoring, coaching, training, and aptitude sessions, mock GD, mock PI, MS Office training, Excel expertise. So it is like on various dimensions, we're preparing the students right from semester one. This PACT is into curriculum from semester one to the final semester. So that is how we prepare our students for placement. And we keep reaching out to industry to see how they expect our deliverable to be in terms of student being capable on certain set of special skills. So we work on those areas that come as industry expectation.
So ma'am, you're working on the both ends, on the students as well as on the industry. And when a student comes to IBS, they are secure enough because the institute is working for them. So ma'am, with your rich experience, the last question which I would like to ask you is to give suggestions to the students who are pursuing business courses.
I always recommend students that something that is going to help you big time is one, a high degree of self-awareness, and second, very open mind for feedback. So students right from the day one should put themselves into a lot of self-introspection, a lot of psychometric assessments, a lot of intelligence tests, interest tests, personality tests, so that they have a clear understanding about what are their abilities and what is their inherent penchant. They might say that we have a proclivity for this kind of a career or this stream or this domain or this discipline, but we help them a lot to get into that conscious self-assessment so that they have a correct understanding of their abilities and interests. I also advise the students seek feedback from all directions. Let it come from every person who carries wisdom. It may be your peers, it may be your professors, it may be your mentors in the industry, even the experts who come to, we have these kind of collaboration where our recruiters and our internship supervisors do connect with students for those short mentoring programs. So keep seeking feedback from all directions. Look into those, pointers that have come to you as a feedback. Try to critically analyze your own abilities and your own behaviors and work on these feedback areas that have come to you. Third, I always recommend students work on developing multiple alternative abilities. Don't restrict yourself to certain set of expertise. That would make things difficult for you. So that attitude of developing multiple skills or multiple abilities, reskilling, upskilling, upgrading continuously. I always keep telling students, if in the last 1 quarter you have not upgraded yourself on a new skill, perhaps you're faltering badly. So we keep encouraging them to keep acquiring new skills and ensuring that they have a broad spectrum of abilities. Or don't restrict yourself to a particular domain or a particular set of skills. That would help you a long way in your career. So one is self-awareness, second is feedback, and third is constant upskilling and developing alternative abilities.
That is some valuable advice, I must say. And thank you so much, ma'am, for connecting with us, enlightening our minds with your enlightening words.
Thank you so much.
I'm 100% sure that this interview will help various students around the globe. With this small note, I would like to conclude this session. Thanks again for a truly memorable interview. Take care.
Thank you. Best wishes.